So today you're going to discover how to get what you want and get paid your true and intrinsic worth by getting out of your own way. Put your hand up and be proud if you have known somebody from time to time who's gotten in their own way. Okay, great. And if that person's in your underwear, raise your hand again. Okay, fine. I thought it was funny. Okay, so today I'm going to brief through some things. We're going to learn the 5 secrets to making big money and to live a life that defies the impossible. Okay? Your access to doing the impossible in your own life. You have to have an access. Does that make sense? How many of you know access makes the difference to success? Access. If you don't have access, you can't do anything. You can't. If you don't have access, your willpower won't carry you. Okay? So you have to have access. And how do you do the impossible in your own life? Okay? And lastly, we'll cover how you can begin to catapult your profitability and be proud of yourself. I don't want you to have to compromise your sense of self in order to make your money. It doesn't have to be that way. Okay? Now, my promise to you is this. I will give you everything I got. I promise you, you will get value out of our time together if you haven't already. Okay? Because time is money, and I believe in value. Okay? And for those of you who want to take it further, I'll let you know how to do that as well. Okay? But because of our time limit, I can't give it all to you. Okay, if you're not attracting the money and opportunities you may want, you may want to consider 3 things. You have not given yourself personal permission to prosper at a core level. And I'm asking you to talk, I'm talking to the you that's in bed at night with your head, your covers over your head you, not the public, not your representative. Do you understand what I'm saying when I say that? That there's a public you that you put on for people, and she's sexy and gorgeous and fabulous, that you. And then there's the one that's in the corner crying like, God, I hope nobody knows. I'm talking to her. Okay, that one. Okay, great. Let's make it sure. All right. You're still surviving or making it internally, even though the outside measures are there. Internally, you're still proving it to your mama or your daddy. You're still trying to make good, or you're still internally trying to prove something or make it some way, somewhere. Okay? Or you have not done the internal, intimate work to have peace and prosperity come to you versus you chasing after it. And there is a difference where you don't have to work so hard to get the results you need. Okay? So here's the truth. Your net worth will never exceed your self-worth. It will not, it will not, it will not. And the fundamental reason why is that each time you try, you will sabotage you. Because it's going to go against everything you know about yourself to be true. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. It's not bad, it's human. It's not, there's nothing wrong with you. Every human being does this. And it may not be with your money, it could be, you may start that fight with your spouse or your lover or your baby, and he's like, darn it, and then that impacts your performance. So I'm just saying, like, give yourself the gift of truth, okay? Now, how do you transform this? It's clear. Your inner world reflects your outer world. There's no question mark. You already know this. You're already brilliant. I'm not tripping. I don't doubt that. Okay? And it's you want to invest in yourself by doing the deep inner work to increase your self-worth internally. Here's the thing. Women spend $30 billion a year. We buy the major purchases in the home. We do this. You know what I'm saying? Like money and women, we got this on lock, right? Yet less than 2% of female business owners ever break the $1 million mark. I mean, I'm not even talking about 6 figures. I'm saying the $1 million mark. Historically, we have access. We have financing. We have bankers. We know their first name. You know, like, we have stuff. I'm just saying, okay? But it can't be what it used to be historically. Does that make sense? So I'm inviting us to consider that maybe we have something to do with that. That maybe it's not men, or maybe it's not history, or maybe it's not race, or maybe it's not gender. Are you with me? Okay? Then maybe we've invested in Twitter and social media, but we haven't invested in ourselves. Like really taking on who we are for ourselves. Our most important relationship is our relationship with ourselves. And that's the one we least pay attention to. We put ourselves last. We work ourselves to death. We give people from our overdrawn account versus our overflow. Make sense? I'm inviting you that it doesn't have to be that way if you tend to your self-worth. So, I put my testimonials on because they say it a lot better than I do, But I wanted to put Shanna up because Shanna was one of the people that I worked with that she inspires me. She had been violated and betrayed in a way that she had not anticipated, okay? And it took her out the game. And when I met her, it was negative. She was willing to do the real work with herself. She invested in herself. And I'm not just talking money, I'm talking truth talk. Does that make any sense? Investing in you is you being willing to put time into you. Working out is putting time into you. That's an investment, okay? She did the work and she was able to turn her life around and it impacted her children. And she was raising 2 girl children. And I'm not going to get into the details because I don't have the time. But I am saying that when you tend to yourself and you know you matter and you treat you like you matter, you make the biggest difference on the planet because there's more of you to give versus coming from you don't have enough, okay? Now, here are the 5 secrets, okay, that really I built my whole life around. I've built my consulting practice around. I've built my speaking career around. I've built my workshops and trainings around. It's these 5 secrets that got me off the streets, got me through my degrees, got me on television, got me to O Magazine, okay? And the first one is determine your current relationship with yourself. You can't go, you can't go forward if you don't know where you are. You wouldn't run your business like that. You need to know where you are so you can plan and plot what you need to correct or what you need to celebrate. And when you determine your current relationship with yourself, you get clarity. Okay? Second, declare your independence from the tyranny and strongholds that have kept you safe, small, and stuck. Now, those are 3 different worlds. Stuck is not the same as small, and small is not the same as safe. Women, we're complicated. We're a little tricky about this, all right? You may be working on the stuck part, but what about where you're playing small? And you know you're playing small. You know it. We don't know it, but you know it, okay? So when you get free, when you declare your independence from those worlds as tyranny, what becomes available to you is unprecedented results, okay? The third one is desire. It's when you allow yourself to be pulled by your passion. If you think about why you became a business owner, why you decided to have employees, you had a passion to have other people have jobs. You wanted to help somebody. You wanted to serve them. And it became the biggest burden you could ever have imagined. It's like, how could this go so bad? I thought this was going to be fun. Now the people ain't acting right. They ain't showing up. They're not doing what you told them to do. And you're like, you know what? I'm going home today. Because you're just hot. So your desire has turned to, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Okay, I just went through this with a service provider. I'm like, my God, what was I doing? I'm a bad boss. But when you allow yourself to be pulled by your passion, you're no longer doing business as usual. What used to be a chore becomes a pleasure because you're oriented around what's pulling you forward versus what's pushing you back, okay? And then you want to design what you want your relationship with yourself to look like, and then take actions consistent with that self. We don't have enough time, but in my program, Network to Self-Worth, we go through your historical self, your inherited self, and your reactionary self. And all 3 of them are running your life. It's like a 6-year-old is running your business and you don't know it. They just throw tantrums and then your money goes away, all right? I mean, you know, in those, not every moment, but those moments when it matters most, that's when they kick in. So if you have a created relationship with yourself, then you get to say how your life goes based on no evidence. And that's the difference between those 3 and the created self, okay? And the last secret is to do the impossible in your life now. That's my favorite one. I built my whole brand around it because I say we can. I say we can. If I can get off the streets, we can do anything, right? So those are the 5 secrets. Now, I gave you a work on the back of one of your handouts. There's a really little bitty worksheet. So it's on the back. I'm going to brief through these with you right now. You can do these at home, okay? You can take off the top and do these at home, but I'm going to talk you through this so you can see what I'm saying for your life, all right? And this is just one step, but to do the impossible in your life now, you want to look at 3 questions. Where has life broken your heart? And as women, we are walking around heartbroken, pretend that we're not. And it may not, you're not crying tears, you're just not speaking up. Or you're being forceful. Or you're leaving before you have had your say, okay? We all do it in our own way. So you want to tell the truth about where has life broken your heart, or where have you given up on you? there was something that was possible, and now instead of being a lawyer, now you decided to, I don't know, be a secretary. I'm just using that as an example. I'm not saying that's the truth, okay? And the third is, what are you certain will never happen? Like, we will never have a good Thanksgiving meal without some kind of fight happening. Do you see what I'm saying? My mother-in-law will never like my hair. You know, like whatever it is, right? So what I would invite you to do is just take a moment and just look at where, and you know, you don't have to do all of them. Just take one for now and just jot down, you know, where have you given up on you, or what are you certain will never happen, or where has life broken your heart? Take a moment and I'll be quiet. And just so you can get a sense of the work that I do, okay? And I'll be quiet. Okay, great. So now that you have one example for yourself, which is perfect, and I invite you later on today or whenever, do the whole exercise. You'll get plenty of value from it. I just want to walk you through this with an example. I want to give you two, but I'm going to give you one. If I have enough time, I'll give you a second one, okay? When I was at Stanford University, I started to fail. Have you ever heard of failing out? Do you know what that means? Okay, great. So you do good, and then something happens, and then you start failing, right? And then they start to want to kick you out, right? So I had been fine with the coursework because I can follow directions really well. One of the benefits of being on the streets is that you really do learn how to navigate things. There is a benefit, right? But part of the challenge was when I got to Stanford, when you do the dissertation, that's original research. That's not about following the rules. Do you see what I mean? You can't follow a rule when you're coming up with original research, right? So I'm like, oh my God, I gotta tell them something original? How is this gonna work? So I did those 5 steps I told you about, right? So I determined my current relationship with myself. Stupid, fraud. Anybody have the fraud syndrome going on at some point in their life? They're gonna find out they really made a mistake. I really am not nearly as smart as they say.